Hey Vince, we'd love for you to do the soundtrack for A Charlie Brown Christmas. Oh my god, I'd love to. So just something that'll blend in super well at a dinner party with a bunch of hot people. Oh, no. Like hot, sophisticated people. Nope, no. You know the kind of party where you look around and you're like, wow, everyone here is hot and sophisticated. Where you're like, Carol, I just have to tell you, you always look amazing in a turtleneck. Just like kid stuff, Bobby, you know, kid Bobby's kid stuff. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum-bum-bum. Perfect. With a hint of melancholy. Nope, no melancholy. Not outright melancholy. Just something that says... kid stuff. Kids like, Christmas time. Okay. Sad kids. Kids just doing kid stuff. Picture a party with a bunch of hot people in turtlenecks. And they all struggle with depression. What do you hear in the background of that party? Because I can hear it already. I'll have it to you by Tuesday. Are you working on a live-action Grinch movie? We've made something very upsetting. We don't want that. Not in the way you might assume. I wouldn't assume anything. I think you'd go, why did they make the Grinch grotesque? Why would you make the Grinch grotesque? It looks like if you touched him, he'd feel like old wet bread, both too soft and unexpectedly firm. It's time to change it. Jim Carrey is phenomenal. What can the man not do? What can't he do? He can't prevent you from having the reaction, oh no, the Grinch is too tall. Huh. You know when your brain has an idea of how tall something is, and when you find out it's taller, it's jarring, like a traffic light or Bernie Sanders? I don't know. Like how you think Bernie Sanders, he's gotta be like 5'3", he's named Bernie, and then you find out he's 6 feet tall, and it's like, has he always been that tall? Did he get Willy Wonka? I've never thought. You go, I would have bet both kidneys that guy was 5'3", but you're not frightened. But with the Grinch is upsettingly tall. Maybe he's not so much jarringly tall. You can't help picturing him just barreling at you, only a Santa shirt on, too tall, wet bread body. Easy fix? More than a shirt. It's too late. And that's the thing. That's what you would assume would be grotesque, but what's actually grotesque is that the Who's are superficial. I don't know if we need that layer. We can't go back because we sat around and we thought, what created the Grinch? And it hit us like, society. But he is gross. He is gross, yes, and I can't emphasize enough, frightening as well. Okay, well, I feel like we just changed that. But the Who's are kind of frightening as well. There is a sexy Who. There shouldn't be a sexy Who. None of the plot works without the sexy Who. The plot hinges on the sexy Who. The sexy Who is the foundation from which we've built the live-action Grinch. Why, love? Because don't we immediately understand the Grinch more if we know the Grinch has had his heart broken? Maybe he has pants on. The Grinch is growing out. It would go against the very essence of the source material to change that. But come on! It's Jim Carrey as the Grinch! And the dog is cute. Jim Carrey's the Grinch. Green lip. Hey, so we just want to do a cute little movie about how Santa Claus became Santa Claus. Oh, fun! And the vibe is like World War II. No. A little World War I thrown in, bad guys German, good guys American. Just like Santa is this sweet young guy. Like, hot. Tall, hot, big beard at one point. He's like, hey Jessica, I have a doll just for you. Who's Jessica? The hot school teacher. And she's like, Chris, toys are illegal. But then he hands her a doll and she's like, a doll? I've never had a doll before. Then we'll have this whole trippy sequence where birds unpin her hair and she's like, never have I. Just toys. Just a cute kids movie about Santa and toys. Totally. And at one point there's an evil warlock. And he's just about to have his tree monsters smother Santa. But then Santa's like, hey, I actually have something for you. Teach kids that if someone's trying to harm you, bribe them. No strings attached to the toys, just like, if you're good, a kiss, a toy is the price you pay. Absolutely not. So Santa's on the lam, and the Burgermeister Meisterburger is like, let's hunt him down. No. Jessica and Santa get married. Okay. Eventually society evolves, Santa no longer needs to live as an outlaw, but he's gotten older and he's like, I'm gonna give out toys once a year. So he decides, I'll go out on Christmas Eve. Okay. And the entire time Fred Astaire is narrating, he sounds like he's barely concealing how pissed he is at the kids. No. How's that idea coming for a 30-minute Frosty the Snowman holiday special? So great. We open on the first snow of the season. 6 school children eagerly await the end of the day. It looks like you copy-pasted one kid and just changed the hair and sweater. They're brothers. And also every authority figure in this, except for Santa, is an incompetent, power-hungry idiot. It can't be about the Vietnam War. It's not. It's not. It's about a charming snowman. Okay. And a magician who wants to steal the hat that gives Frosty life. Because once he determines that it has value, he decides that Frosty's nothing more than a necessary sacrifice to the great machine of capitalism. No. It's based on the song. We did a special that's based beat for beat on the song. Like how the second the Frosty comes to life, the children must reckon with his mortality. Well, what other songs did you add in? Like, the Rudolph special is obviously based on the song, but then there were a bunch of other numbers added in, so what other songs are added into the Frosty special? You know, there's so many emotional layers to the Frosty song that we were like, this is such a rich text, what is there to add? So we use the same 4 snippets over and over. Frosty and the children march to the train station where they're told a ticket to the North Pole costs $3,000.04, an out-of-reach price tag on Frosty's life. It can't be about the Vietnam War. It's not. It's not. Hocus, the magician's rabbit, finds a refrigerated boxcar that Karen and Frosty can sneak into. The other children hang back, too cowardly to make themselves uncomfortable in the face of injustice. Frosty realizes Karen will freeze if he doesn't get her somewhere warm. He takes her to a greenhouse, though he knows he's putting his own life at risk. The magician sneaks up behind them and locks them in. Luckily, Santa's on his way and saves them, and arrives to find Karen sobbing over the puddle that once was Frosty. Jimmy Durante sings a melancholy version of the Frosty song. Frosty the Snowman. A montage plays, celebrating the brief glimmer of joy that was Frosty's life. The song is just about a snowman who comes to life, has fun, melts, comes back the next Christmas. And the special is about a snowman who comes to life, has fun, flees from the ever-reaching, never-satiated arm of capitalism. No. Melts, and then Santa threatens the magician that he'll never get another present if he doesn't give the hat back. So he gives the hat back. That's not a character arc. Exactly. Kids need to learn that some people will always care more about material goods than a sense of morality. He runs away, and Santa brings Frosty back to life. The end. Only because I love Jimmy Durante. Greenlit. It can't be about— It's not. It's about goofy sweet Jack Frost, a mischievous winter sprite who falls in love with a human woman, Elisa. Okay. And must defeat Kubla Kraus, a dictator who amasses wealth while the people he rules over live in crushing poverty. It can't be about— It's not. What's his accent? Europe. It's a love story. Jack begs Father Winter to make him human, and Father Winter agrees, temporarily. But he says that Jack must attain the 4 human essentials by spring: a house, a horse, gold, and a wife. All right. Jack's like, no problem, but big problem, because due to Kubla Kraus's wealth hoarding, the peasants use an icicle currency, but when the value crashes in the spring, it leads to hyperinflation. A holiday special. Yes, I forgot to tell about the groundhog in the beginning. Why is there a groundhog? For Groundhog's Day. Buddy Hackett's a little groundhog, and his shadow dances along next to him. It's a Christmas special. Oh, yeah. We can make that work. Just cut the groundhog stuff. Can't cut, buddy. We poured time and energy into the shadow dance. You know, February's gonna roll around and you're gonna feel like a real idiot not having a special to air. Fine. Kubla Kraus falls in love with Elisa and sings about it with his little robot puppet dummy. Then he kidnaps her. Okay, and then Jack saves her? No, oh my god, I totally forgot to tell you about this smoking hot night Ravenclaw. He saves her. Jack gets thrown in a dungeon. I see where you're confused. You're not picturing how hot this puppet is. What happens to Jack? Well, he's stuck in the castle, and he gives up his mortal form to create this big storm that'll defeat Kubla. And then he gets his castle and his horse and his gold. Now he just needs a wife. So he goes and wins over Elisa. Oh, the storm stuff took weeks, and she and the Hot Knight super fell in love in the meantime, and they're getting married. And Jack's like, oh, I thought she loved me. And her dad's like, well, you? I mean, she said she loved Jack Frost, but not you, a human man named Jack Sniff. Lesson, just because you do something nice for somebody doesn't mean they have to love you. And if you have to change yourself completely for somebody, it's not meant to be. I mean, you're not wrong. Let me get the hot puppet. When you see the hot puppet, it's gonna all make sense. Here's my idea. Gay. I'm listening. So we open on Rudolph like fresh out of the womb. He's this Nepo baby, and his dad's like, I've given you everything to be successful. Blend in. Okay. And they live in like this barren cave. You know, cute like family portraits or paintings to make it feel like a home? There's like an old blanket on the ground. Love it. Santa walks in. This is a society where your boss can just burst into the birthing room. And he's like, your kid's a freak, and then he dances around and he sings a song about being the king. Oh God. To be fair, we'll have Rudolph's nose make this awful piercing noise when it glows. So people in the audience are like, I wonder if I'd have trouble accepting that. Okay. Cut to Hermie, who's this little elf with a haircut that'll bring out confusing feelings in bisexual girls. And he's like, I really want to be a dentist. Why a dentist? Well, we were gonna say artist, but felt like that'd be a little too obvious and the syllables fit, so fair. But every time he says it, he'll be like, dentist. But after wrestling with another boy, Rudolph gets outed, and he and Hermie run off together. Then they run into Yukon Cornelius, who's unbelievably sexy and just bringing like big bi boy energy. Listen, I am loving it so far. Thank you. I'm just worried. This is 1964, as you know. I know exactly where you're coming from, but that's why we've added a character, Clarice, who's gonna be hurling herself at Rudolph the whole movie. So straights will be like, look, he has a little girlfriend. Perfect. And we'll end on this heart-shattering scene where we leave the joy of Rudolph's hero's journey. We go back to the island of misfit toys, where they're sitting in the dark around the saddest fire you've ever seen, and they're like, we've been abandoned again. Oh, but here comes Rudolph leading the sleigh. So right as the lights are coming up, everybody will have to be like, no, I'm not crying, it's puppets, I'm not crying over puppets. How much money do you need? Hey, how's the Rudolph New Year's Eve movie coming along? Sorry? The deadline's tomorrow, right? Yeah, it's coming along great. What's it about? Just, you know, Rudolph and his gang of quirky friends. Same friends as last time? Do we have the puppets from the original? No, we threw them all out. New gang of friends this time. Oh, fun. Like who? A caveman, Benjamin Franklin, and a knight. A knight. We don't have enough eyes. What? We only have enough eyes. A knight with his visor down the whole time. It's just kind of a fun thing. Love it. How did they all get around? What other puppets do we have? A whale. By whale. Oh, that's great. And then, what's the plot? Father Time is passing down his crown to Baby New Year, Happy. Aww. But Happy ran away because everybody made fun of him, because he has big ears. Oh. But obviously it would be torment for Father Time to continue living. He's desperate to pass on. So he brings in Rudolph, because if anyone gets it, Rudolph does. I love that. So he's like, Baby New Year, I would never laugh at you. No, he laughs at him too. But he's like, think of it this way. Nothing brings together a group faster than having one person to make fun of. And that's the purpose you serve. That's Rudolph's character arc, and the baby gets it, so they bring him back to the Father Time realm, and everybody sings. The end. And there's an evil vulture. That's what I forgot. It looks like you can't quite visualize it, but the evil vulture ties it all together. Well, I can't wait to see it. We can't wait for you to see it. We can't get the whale's mouth to open. What? Mouth won't open. They'll have to all write on top or something. Hey, we're so excited for the long-awaited return of Frosty the Snowman. We're so excited too. And are all of our favorite characters coming back too? Nope. Oh, well, the traffic cop. Huh. A new group of children all sadly talk about Frosty promised to come back, but hasn't for years. Far off in the North Pole, Frosty gets whacked in the face with a newspaper that proclaims the first snow of the season has fallen. He decides to make his return. Okay. The children are thrilled. Jack Frost, not so much. Jack Frost? Jack Frost, an impish little character who's jealous of how much the children love Frosty. He goes to steal Frosty's hat and steals a horse's hat instead. He doesn't even realize he's been foiled. We're 3 minutes in and the villain has been defeated? Then what's the obstacle for Frosty? Loneliness. Oh no. The children played God bringing this creature into existence, not even thinking about the hell of isolation, not a single soul on earth understanding his experience. The children tell Frosty he needs to take a wife. Frosty designs his ideal woman and names her Crystal. What do you mean, design his... But no magical hat will bring Crystal to life. The kids go home for the night, and Frosty is left with her lifeless form. But then he makes her a bouquet of icicle flowers, and this gesture of love brings Crystal to life. Oh, well, I like that. Crystal says, oh, Frosty, I thought you'd never think of those flowers. With dawning horror, we realize snow people are conscious before they're animated, unable to communicate, but fully aware. Oh, what? Wait. So this whole time Jack Frost has just disappeared? Oh, he knocks Frosty's hat off. Crystal immediately brings them back to life with her own icicle flowers. They decide to get married. Parson Brown, a bigot, says he won't marry snow people. So the children build a snow parson and give him a Bible, and that brings him to life. I think we need one thing that brings snow people to life. Jack Frost almost ruins the wedding with a wintry disaster, but Crystal, using flattery and appeasement, convinces him to be the best man. They're all friends now. The end. There's no struggle. There's no climax. It's just a series of small annoyances. That's life. Continually we're knocked down just a little. Just enough to wear and wear and wear away at us. But life is also connection. A reaching across. A gentle I understand on our hardest days. I do love to see Paul Frees booked and busy, greenlit. Hey, so you have an idea for a television special based on the 1979 novelty song Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer? We definitely do. And the song is 3 minutes long, so do you feel like you have enough material? More than enough. Okay, great, hit me with it. We open on Grandma getting run over by a big ol' bunch of reindeer. I feel like that leaves us with nowhere to go.
Flashback, we meet Grandma. She runs a cute little Christmas shop while the rest of the town is being bought out by corporate money. Grandson Jake shares her Christmas spirit, but voluptuous, greedy cousin Mel wants to sell, sell, sell. Then Grandma gets absolutely flattened by a bunch of reindeer. Jake sees the carnage, but no one in his family believes him. Meanwhile, Santa takes Grandma back to the North Pole for medical assistance.
Can't abduct somebody just because you can offer medical assistance. That's the plot of Misery.
Cut to the family wearing all black. Grandma has been missing for 9 months.
9 months?
Yep. Then cousin Mel manipulates confused old grandpa and convinces him to sign over power of attorney to her so she can sell, sell, sell.
9 months is too much time. How about she's gone for a day?
No, because then it wouldn't pack the same punch when Jake goes to the North Pole, convinces Santa to come back with him and explain everything, and then Grandma gets abducted again by Mel and her lawyer, I Am Slime. Get it?
It's impossible not to.
For 3 months. So then there's more gravity to the scene when Jake finds her and rescues her and finds the note that Santa originally left that night and finds the reindeer nip that Mel poured into the fruitcake to sabotage sales. And that's what drove the reindeer insane. She didn't know it was reindeer nip. She just thought, I guess she had a bottle of yucky stuff.
What is the family's overall reaction both to Grandma going missing and to her overall return?
They're like, that stinks. And then they're like, you know, yay.
So this kindly old woman who pours love and goodness into the world is missed only by her grandson when she abruptly goes missing, presumably mauled by a wild animal or abducted by some sicko who's obsessed with old ladies.
I wanted to capture the vibe of the song that's like, awful stuff happens sometimes. So Jake has the jury try the regular fruitcake and the reindeer nip fruitcake, and they're like, send cousin Mel straight to prison for almost ruining Christmas. And we fit an OJ joke in there.
Why? No.
And they all live happily ever after, except for when Grandma opens the wrong fruitcake and those reindeer hurtle down on her frail body again. Our budget is $20.
Greenlit.
So you have a new take on the Rudolph story? Yep, keeping with the exact same themes. Life is suffering and we only grow through pain. Oh, I think more so it was like, if you feel shame, you should look inside yourself and ask, what's wrong with me? And what can I change so people will be nicer to me?
No.
Rudolph for Catholic kids. We open on a donkey, Spealto, and he tells us about his ancestor Nestor, and he keeps making digs at elves, like there's subtext.
No subtext.
We go back in time and see this little donkey with long ears. Everyone makes fun of him, and his mom's just like, oh, Nestor.
And then there's something like reindeer games or something fun.
They're all nice to him for one night, the winter solstice, and he's like, this is the best night of my life, and his mom gives him socks to cover up his ears.
When does nice stuff happen?
Soon. Roman soldiers come to buy some of the donkeys. They think the stable guy is trying to con them by covering up Nestor's ears. The Romans steal all the baby donkeys, leaving behind just Nestor. The stable guy's so pissed, he throws Nestor over the trees, and he collapses, a tiny pile in the snow.
When does nice stuff happen?
Soon. Nestor's mom breaks out of the stable and finds him, and she shields him from the cold with her body.
Aww.
In the morning, we cut to Nestor weeping, staring at the corpse of his mother.
No corpse.
Staring at a mound of snow, covering the corpse of his mother.
Still not great.
Okay, so nice stuff. A cherub comes and she's like, Nestor, I'll be your friend. And then we get a whole montage where they walk around being friends and every other forest animal laughs at him, but she doesn't. And then she's like, you need to go to Bethlehem. You have a purpose there. And then she abandons him.
But then it's okay because he goes to Bethlehem.
No, more bad stuff happens. Mary and Joseph need a donkey to get them to Bethlehem. They like Nestor and his gentle eyes, but then they get stuck in a sandstorm and he uses his big ears to protect them, like Rudolph. Jesus is born, and Nestor goes home, and everyone likes him now because he proved himself to be useful. Lesson: the next time you watch Rudolph, you'll have a deeper appreciation for how community can be healing, and what lack of community can do to a person's soul.
Greenlit. But you gotta do a Rudolph and Frosty one next.
We're so excited for a new Santa special. Now does this one pick up where Santa Claus is coming to town left off?
Nope.
Great Act of the Forest finds a human infant alone in the woods. He goes to the lioness Shiegra and asks her to watch over him. Nacille, a wood nymph, is overcome by a yearning to become a mother. She steals the baby, and
Shiegra's going nuts.
Nacille begs Act to let her take care of the baby. He grants her wish and has Shiegra stay to protect them both.
Okay, we tried to fit a little Jesus in at the end of the last one.
No Jesus, we're talking forest.
Okay.
Nacille names the baby Claus, and he has a blast bebopping around the woods. But when he becomes a preteen, Act's like, time to show you the horrors and cruelty of the mortal world. Act and Claus fly around the world, and Claus learns that everywhere you look, authority figures abuse their power, and the rich get richer while the poor get poorer.
And maybe there's a Rudolph cameo or something.
Claus joins the mortal world, determined to help others. Hard cut to, he's 45 now.
Oh, now, what about everything in between?
That's life. One day you're convinced 25 is the oldest a person could possibly be, and then you're like, God, I should Google what a Roth IRA is. But then you realize, hey, life is way better now that you're not riddled with the insecurities of your 20s. And we made a hot Santa puppet to show for like a split second.
Okay, love it.
Claus realizes that poor children don't get toys, and he's like, I could fix that. But then the evil Ogwash swoop in to stop him.
We're
30 minutes in, don't you feel like that's a little late to introduce a villain? Don't even worry about it. Like 5 minutes later, Ock declares war and defeats them. Thought he was a peaceful guardian of the forest. We don't get justice by asking nicely for it. And we made this sick giant axe, so they're defeated, and then Claus goes to deliver the toys, but the doors are locked, so he's like, oh, what can I do? He gives up? We were thinking like seasonal depression, where there's a mild inconvenience, and he's like, I might just go to bed and deal with this tomorrow. And he learns how to scramble down chimneys, and he gets to borrow reindeer. Now he's Santa. Then 15 years pass, and he's at death's door. Then all the immortals get together for a vote, and they're like, should we keep this guy around forever? And they all vote yes. So the immortals have the power to keep any mortal alive forever, and Santa's the only one they can all agree on? Yep. Greenlit. Get this, Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. Oh, fun, I love that. And the whole movie has this underlying sense of sadness and impending doom. We open on Rudolph and Frosty all happy. Frosty has 2 kids. We don't get into the logistics of that. And please don't. The kids are like, Uncle Rudolph, would you light up your nose for us? And he's like, okay. And then his nose just impotently flashes on and off. Rudolph collapses into a depression, and our little group huddles together, collectively mourning a country's loss of innocence. It can't be about the Vietnam War. And it's not. It's about how Frosty and Rudolph are just a couple of goofy guys whose naive view that the world is inherently good leads to horrific consequences. And we got Ethel Merman. No way! Did you have a song so amazing she just had to sing it? No, we just told her she can kind of make up 3 solo songs. Chickens today, feathers tomorrow. And is that a rough draft? She's recording. So an evil warlock finds out that Rudolph's nose will stop glowing if he uses it for evil. So he, along with the dirtiest reindeer puppet we could find, trick Rudolph into doing an evil deed. That feels like a loophole. It does, doesn't it? But if you do something bad because, let's say, an authority figure tells you it's good, it's still a bad thing, huh? Can't be about the war. And it's not. So Frosty sacrifices himself to help Rudolph, and his entire family sees his corpse. But Rudolph, along with Ethel Merman's help, bonk bonk, double bonk, the warlock, that turns him into a tree. Happy ending? Then the entire Frosty family melts because his magic was keeping them alive. But there's a whole part I forgot to tell you about with the clock whale. But suffice to say, Jack Frost shows up and saves them. Not suffice to say, if there's not 97 minutes of material, it can be 30. It's feature length. I didn't even get a chance to tell you about Milton the Balloon Guy or how super hot young Santa is. Okay, so, happy ending? Is it a happy ending? Just because you survived? Barely.